Anyway, we say goodbye to Gemma because we're going to speak to the big man himself. We're going to the North Pole. And here, if we're right, if we've got the connection right, working away with all his helpers,
Tony.
we've got Santa.
Hey up, Eamon. Tony. Eamon Holmes. It's what? You can see me. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm not actually in the North Pole. No. I'm here in England at the Pritchard Cycling News Show Studios, where I'm taking part in his 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. And I've got to say, it's better than your show.
Santa, how are you and the elves doing? Do you have to social distance? You know, they're working away, making all the toys for the children. How is that working out for you all?
Hey up, Ruthie Kinge, you all right? Well, when it comes to North Pole, slightly different guidelines there for people working. Well, I say people, you call them helpers, other people call them elves. I'll call them for what they are, the kids. It's slave labour. But the only reason I use kids is because they've got really small hands, right? And they can get into all those little nooks and crannies of all those new gadgets. Apple Watches, iPads, iPhones, I bloody want. These kids nowadays, that's all they bloody do. They say, I want this and I want that. I hate them. I hate the little buggers. So ungrateful. Why are they so ungrateful nowadays? They need to come and spend a day in my workshop. Work for a living. Then they'll know what it's like. Then they'll be grateful for what they've got. Like these little helpers, elves, whatever you want to call them. Once they finish their work, they go back to the solitary social distance quarters, right? They get a meal. They're grateful for it. Not like these little swines that you see nowadays, throwing phones about, getting unhappy because they got a PlayStation 4 instead of a PlayStation 5. It makes my blood boil, I tell them. Anyway, they don't need to worry about social distancing. Kids can't pick it up. Kids can't give it, especially when they go nowhere. So don't worry this end about it, Ruthie.
And when you come down the chimney, Santa, when you come out in people's sitting rooms and living rooms, will you have to be wearing a mask?
Who is this guy? What a stupid bloody question. Eamon, I don't know how to tell you this, mate, but I'm going to tell you. I'm sleeping with your wife. I don't care. There's only one chimney I want to come down this year, and that's Ruthie's, all right? So how's about we just settle this here, right now? I'm sleeping with your wife. Get over it, all right? Stop asking stupid bloody questions.
And would you like the children to get their Christmas lists and letters to you a little bit earlier, perhaps this year, if your things are taking a bit longer?
Well, we're just gonna pretend I didn't say any of that, Ruth. Hey, you're gonna be professional. Is that how it's gonna go? Is it? All right, I'll toe the line. Yes, kids shouldn't have long lists. They shouldn't ask for these bloody stupid expensive things when the parents ain't got no bloody money because they're gonna have to put them on finance and get themselves into more debt. Bloody pisses me off, this whole bloody Christmas thing. The fact that you've not even acknowledged what I've just said is I don't even know if you want this, Ruthie. I put myself out there, live on TV, declaring my love for you, telling your bloody husband that I'm sleeping with you. And I don't even acknowledge it.
Santa, is there a message that you would like to give children watching today as to what to expect for Christmas this year?
All right, so it's your turn now, is it, to toe the line, Eamon? You're just going to sit there like a professional, pretend I didn't say what I just said, and talk to me about these kids. Listen, I don't care about these kids. Could not give a toss about them. The only kids I care about are the ones I'm going to be making with your wife next year. All right? So get used to it, sunshine. Get bloody used to it.
Thank you, Father Christmas. Thank you. You keep safe and well, and we'll see you in 3 months' time. Thank you very much indeed.
I can do one, Eamon. I'm not going to be seeing you in 3 months' time. I'm going to be seeing your wife tonight. I know that much. Are we done? I tell you what, I've got such a good story to tell you. Yeah, me, Ruthie, Easter Bunny, and the big man himself, yeah? No, not Jesus. Cliff Pritchard. Oh, I tell you, it was wild. Wild, Tony. Anyway, hello everybody and welcome to day 6 of the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway here on the Pritchard Cycling News Show. Sorry about earlier. I had to do a TV interview. Sorry, I totally forgot all about it. But I'm with you now and we're going to check out Who won day number 5 of the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, which was £200 worth of Velo Skin skincare range? And I know you don't care about the video. I know you don't care about anything else other than who won. But if you look on the screen right now, they're going to find out the winner was Philip bloody Utley. Nice one, Phil. I've seen thee on Chris's rides before. I've seen thee in comments before. That thoroughly deserves that skincare range from Velo Skin. Whoosh, well done. Now those that didn't win, you're already past that. They already don't give a crap. They wants to know what's available on day number 6, halfway through the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway here on the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. Well, thanks to our partners, the Discount Sports Network, who you can sign up to for free, I'll have you know. I know I keep going on about this $17.99 a year, but that can sign up for free. They don't get all the benefits, and it's certainly worth spending that extra money. But if you just want a little taster, you want to see what's available, that can use link down in the description. Go and sign this up to Discount Sports Network, and that can have a thoroughly good time checking out some of those discounts. Anyway, thanks to the Discount Sports Network, we've teamed up with Quad Lock, by far the best locking system for phones on your bike, on your car, on your bloody windshield, on your motorbike, wherever. They do like a little charging dock as well. It's amazing. Anyway, they're giving away a complete gift set to one of you lucky buggers. And all they ask to do is use the hashtag Santa. Use that in your comments as you leave a nice comment down below about how good looking Chris is today, or how charismatic he is, or how sexy he is. Right? As long as you use the hashtag Santa, you're going to be entered into the draw, just like Phil was, and he ended up bloody winning it. So if you want to be part of it, follow all the stuff down below. Follow Quadlock on the Instagram. Follow Discount Sports Network on the Instagram. Go and sign up to Discount Sports Network, and I'll see thee soon. Here's Chris with some news.
Hello everybody and welcome to Monday's edition of the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. We've got some cracking news coming up, but first, don't forget, if you want to be part of the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, you've got to use the hashtag Santa. Hashtag Santa. Leave it down in the comments below, as well as all those other comments. Santa just told you that, but I'm telling you again, just in case you didn't listen. Right, tiny little bit of self-promotion. Recently, we did a podcast on mental health in the elite sporting world with Lee Povey and Ryan Owens of Maximise Your Potential. A week later, I went on Lee Povey's podcast as a guest rather than a host.
I'm not messing around, Chris. Big questions.
Really good question. I'm trying to think of how long it's acceptable to sit here in silence for your listeners while I have a think about that. Wow. It's a good listen. You might find out something new. You might find out something that you didn't already know about me. And I mean, it's going to make me look good if you go over there and there's lots of views on it. So I'd really, really appreciate you taking the time to go and have a listen. Right then, let's get into the news. And first up, let's talk about the cyclocross action from this weekend. So Saturday was Scheldecross, one or the other, I don't know, in Antwerp in Belgium, and it marked the return of Mathieu van der Poel to the cyclocross world, and he came back with a bang. He took victory ahead of Elie Isabet, and in third place was Tom Pidcock. Across in the women's, and current world champion Alvarado had, well, it was the opposite of the success that Mathieu van der Poel had. She had a mechanical issue in the middle of the race. She ended up getting some sort of wire wedged in her back wheel and a rear mech, and it was just a mess. And unfortunately, she couldn't get that fixed in time. The other riders took off, left her in the dirt, and ultimately that was the end of her race. The victory will be fought out and eventually won by Denise Betsema. Lucinda Brand ended up finishing in second place, and in third was Anne-Marie Vost. Sunday was the... I'm useless at pronouncing these names. Gaviria. Anyway, whatever. It was a super prestige round, and Lucinda Brand and Denise Betsema, well, they essentially traded places from the Saturday. Brand taking the victory, Betsema taking third place. And current world champion Alvarado having slightly better luck in this race, coming over the line in third. Now, the men's round of the Telenet Super Prestige race was an absolute banger, especially if you're a British fan, especially if you're a fan of Tom Pidcock, because he ended up taking the victory ahead of, well, what looked like the unbeatable Mathieu van der Poel. Van der Poel would eventually come over the line 25 seconds down on Pidcock. Toonarts would finish in third. Ellie is a bit, he was way down. He didn't seem to have the same form on the Sunday as he did on the Saturday. But yes, Tom Pidcock stepping up, winning his first ever elite men's cyclocross race. And what a time to come. Obviously that Zwift World Championships midweek put him in good stead to take the victory here. He looked absolutely mega. Didn't faze him that he was racing against the world's best cyclocross rider. Didn't faze him that only a day previous Mathieu van der Poel had kicked him into the weeds. Tom Pidcock, there's another way of saying it, like he said in his interviews, he's kind of stepped up, he's become a man in this. I think this is him planting his flag in the sand saying, listen, I'm not just an also-ran. I'm still only 21, but I'm here. And now I'm going to kick your asses. That's not going to be his last victory this cyclocross season, and I think it's going to put him in good stead for the road season. It's going to give him that confidence that he's needed, because he's been there or thereabouts in just about every single race that he takes part in. But it's one thing to get a podium in these events, but it's another thing to get a first place. It's another thing to get a first place ahead of what people consider the greatest cyclocross rider of all time in Mathieu van der Poel, a rider who's, I think, was it last year that he didn't lose a cyclocross race all season? And Tom Pidcock is taking it to him. And a lot of people thought that Mathieu van der Poel was going to be even better this year because he's a little bit lighter. But no, Tom Pidcock socked it to him. And again, like I said, I don't think this is going to be his last victory in the cyclocross world. And I think that this is actually going to put him in good stead to take some real confidence into the next rounds, as well as taking all that confidence back onto the road for next year when he signs for Team Ineos. Next up, talking of Team Ineos, what about this rumour about Vincenzo Nibali signing for them? Do it. Yeah, you heard me right. Vincenzo Nibali potentially might be going to see out his career at Team Ineos in 2022. Now, he was planning on retiring at the end of 2021. However, because of this year and the lack of racing that he's had, it looks like he's going to extend it up until at least the end of 2022. Now, I remember talking about the Chris Froome rumours when they started flying around about him signing for Israel Startup Nation, and I reported on them, but I was like, that's never going to happen. There's no chance that Froome is going to leave his safe haven, his comfort blanket in Team Ineos. Turns out he did. And exactly the same could be said now for Vincenzo Nibali. We could be looking at Vincenzo Nibali signing for Ineos in 2022. Now, originally, his agent had quashed those rumours, said there was nothing in it. However, now he's saying it could happen. It's a little bit complicated, but it could happen. Nibali's agent said a move from Nibali to Ineos is complicated, but anything is possible in cycling's transfer market. It's difficult, but not impossible. Now, if this move happens, this won't be necessarily Team Ineos trying to stack their roster with another rider to go for GC or potentially be a super domestique. Although, I mean, he's 36 now, 37, 38, 39-ish. Going into it, can he really? Can he be one of those super domestiques that the likes of Egan Bernal, Richard Carapaz need, Theo Gegenhardt need? If he goes there, I think this is going to be much more about him potentially being a mentor to these riders and sticking around beyond his riding career at Team Ineos. But also, you've got to remember, Vincenzo Nibali is Italian. He started his career in an Italian team on a Pinarello. Oh, look, Team Ineos, they use Pinarellos. It's kind of one of those, I don't want to, it's like Lance Stroll in Formula One. Guy's only got that drive because he's got rich parents. I mean, I'm sure he's way more talented than me, don't get me wrong, but come on. Kind of thinking that Pinarello might have a word in Ineos's ear and just say, give you a nice discount on these bikes if you just sign him and put him in your roster. It's going to be good for our brand. We'll give you a little bit of a backhander if you do it. Could be, I don't know. But you can't help thinking that they won't be signing him to take a victory here or there or anywhere, really, I don't think. But then again, it is Vincenzo Nibali, so you just never know. Maybe he's got one more monument in him. Maybe he's got one more stage victory. Maybe he's got one more Grand Tour in him. Anyway, what do you think of these rumours? Would you like to see Vincenzo Nibali seen out his career at Ineos on a Pinarello, or could we just not give a monkey's where? Is he kind of, has he had his day and it's time for him to move on and bring in some new young blood? I don't know. Leave your comments down below and let me know. Next up and finally in the show, let's talk about one rider who has decided to call time on his career 10 years earlier than probably Vincenzo Nibali should have. It's John Dibben. 2016 World Points Champion on the track. John Dibben rode for Team Sky in 2017, 2018. He had a bit of a... I don't know the ins and outs of his career at Team Sky, but he never really seemed to take that step that a lot of them did, like Teo, like Swifty, like G. They kind of came in early and they plugged away and got the results, and eventually they managed to step up to what I guess you'd class it as a higher tier within that team. Whereas John Dibben, he never did. And clearly the guy had talent. He had bags of talent. But unfortunately for him, he had to take a step back to UCI continental level with Madison Genesis back here in the UK, before last year, again, stepping back up to World Tour with Lotto Soudal. But at the end of this year, he calls time on his career, and he made the exclusive on probably one of the best, actually one of the best cycling podcasts there are in the world. It was the Pod Crash with Callum Skinner and Philip Hines, two medalists in the Commonwealth Games and in the Olympics as well. I'm not better. Anyway, John Dibben made the exclusive on their podcast on Friday.
And then we got John Dibben's news.
Oh, I do mine, yeah. Well, I guess it's news is that I'm now retiring, end of this season. So I guess pretty big news for myself anyway.
No, mate, this is incredible news for us. This is the first ever exclusive that we've ever had on the podcast.
Okay. I don't know how many listeners it will bring in, but yeah, call it an exclusive. I've not really told, well, anyone who's asked, I've told, but yeah, retiring, done. Retiring.
Well, mate, it's first of all, congratulations. If that's, I don't know what the right thing is to say. I think it is congratulations because you've had a good spell.
Because I mean, you can't really, you're stopping racing, aren't you? You know, yeah. I mean, maybe you went through it as well, Kate. You're kind of, yes, you're retiring and you're just stopping career, but in a way, you're just stopping racing. You know, it's not like a normal retirement where you, like you say, you've been doing one job in a place and they buy you a present and you go and sit in your house, go on holiday for the rest of your life. It's more you've stopped racing, that's it, on to the next thing.
And it's sad to see him decide to retire, or like he said, just stop racing and move on to the next thing. When, like, I had a quarter of the talent that John Dibben had, yet I was so adamant that I was going to make a career out of it. And John Dibben has made a bit of a career out of it. He can't have reached the potential that he wanted to. I don't care what anybody says. World champion on the track in the points race, clearly destined for really, really good results on the road, and they just never materialised. And again, I don't exactly know why. Maybe the motivation went. Maybe he didn't have the focus that he needed to take that step up, because it's all good and well wanting to be a professional cyclist, and it's all good and well dreaming about becoming it. But when you get there, sometimes for a lot of the riders, the dream isn't, well, it's not a dream. It ends up being a nightmare. It's a really difficult career to face. You spend a lot of time living out of suitcases. You spend a lot of time on the road, rarely in the same bed 2 nights in a row. So it's a tough career, and maybe he got to that point at Team Sky and went, actually, I love riding my bike, but this is just not for me. There's too much pressure. Takes that step down, finds that love again for it, gets the results, steps up to World Tour with Lotto Soudal, and then realises he comes at it from a different approach and doesn't put any pressure on himself. There's no pressure from Lotto Soudal, and he can kind of excel. He ended up finishing the Giro, I think, in 133rd place. It was his one and only Grand Tour, but again, he can tick that off his bucket list and move on to whatever he's going to move on to in his next career. And John Dibben, what a guy, what a rider. And there was so much. I don't think I've seen as much outpouring across, unless it's just the people that I end up following on Instagram. But everybody was getting involved, posting pictures of John Dibben, saying what a nice guy he was, what an amazing cyclist he was. And it'll be sad to see him not in the peloton for 2021. There you go. That's pretty much all the news that's happening today in the world of cycling. I'm sure there's more. Just didn't find any. Leave your comments down below about everything that we spoke about today. Don't forget, if you want to be entered into the 6th day of the 12 days of Christmas, which marks the halfway mark. Good maths. Then use the hashtag Santa and you'll be entered into the draw for a quad lock system. Ooh. Honestly though, quad lock, never go anywhere without mine. Never. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that dislike button if you're not enjoying the video for whatever reason, and I will see you again. Oh, we've got a podcast coming out tomorrow. I honestly don't know whether I should post it or not. I'm going to, but with a tiny little bit of reluctance. See you tomorrow, guys. Noosh.